Hello everyone and welcome back to the Do Digital YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how YouTubers actually make money and the 6 revenue streams that make this a possible profession. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I was totally flummoxed by the fact that people can actually do YouTube full time, but there's quite a lot of nuance in exactly how they get that right. So if you're interested in that, please keep on watching. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Megs and I release tech tutorials every week helping you do digital better. If you found this video valuable, please don't forget to give it a big like and also consider subscribing to my channel. Alright, so in terms of the 6 revenue streams that YouTubers typically use to make YouTube their profession, I'm going to list them up front and then run through them one by one depending on how much kind of detail you want around each of the topics. So the first and most common way that YouTubers make money is through AdSense. The second is brand deals and sponsorships. The third way is through affiliate marketing. The fourth way is through merchandise. The fifth way is through different paid products. So whether that be Lightroom presets or video LUTs, for example, for editing on Premiere Pro, and all those sorts of kind of paid media products. And then finally, meetups and live events. That is the 6th way that YouTubers typically make their money. I feel like AdSense is a video all on its own because there is a lot of detail that goes into understanding exactly how people make money from YouTube's advertising portal. But I'm going to try and break it down as simply as I possibly can. I think there are a lot of YouTube videos out there about exactly how this works, but I find that they're often quite verbose and confusing. So I'm going to hope to just keep this super succinct and just get straight to the point in terms of how it works. So if you start out on YouTube, you of course start your channel with 0 subscribers and no hours of watch time. If you're wanting to get monetized, you need to get to 1,000 subscribers, and within the last 365 days of your channel, you need to meet a 4,000 hour watch time. And that's basically the minimum threshold that makes you then eligible to become monetized, which is what a lot of people talk about. Now, there are some key considerations around how exactly this works and how long actually this really can take. So people will reference getting monetized after a year, but I've seen other people also speak about it taking up to 3 years. So it really would depend how frequently you are posting videos and how many views those videos are getting in order to get you to that point where you have enough watch time to be monetized. So people do not join YouTube and start making money immediately, but it really is quite a lengthy process in order to get this monetization badge, as it were. While you are not yet monetized, it's important to keep close tabs on your analytics, and you can do that by logging into the Creator Studio on YouTube. Or what you can do, what I've done, is download an app called YT Studio or YouTube Studio, and that's a creator aimed app which basically allows you to see how much watch time you are currently on, how many subscribers you currently have, but then it also has some really easy to read graphs about exactly how your last video is performing in comparison to your previous 9. So I think it's a really great way to keep tabs on what are the videos that are actually driving views for your channel versus what are some of the videos that maybe didn't perform as well. And you can work on an 80-20 principle where 20% of your videos will actually get you lots of views and watch time, fingers crossed, and 80% unfortunately for whatever reason maybe won't get picked up in the algorithm and they'll have dramatically lower views and dramatically less watch time. So assuming that you've met the threshold in terms of watch time and subscribers and you're now eligible to be monetized, the first step would be getting that AdSense account. Once you have the AdSense account, you can link your banking details, which enables Google to pay you every month. Now, bear in mind that you have to get over $100 each month in order to be paid out. So if you make $99 one month, unfortunately that would roll over to the second month and then you'd be paid for those 2 months together. So Google won't pay if it's less than $100. Where things get really interesting is how much you are going to be paid. And this comes down to a little metric called CPM, or cost per mil. So a lot of people reference it as cost per milli, which is incorrect because it comes from the French or the Latin, which means 1,000. So it's definitely cost per mil. And what this means is your cost, what an advertiser is willing to pay you for 1,000 impressions of your video. Now, there's also a second metric which is called eCPM, which people sometimes reference. It's if an objective for a campaign was different from that of impressions, they will use a calculation to translate that into CPM, and you then get to a metric called eCPM. But it really does come down to this metric. Now, if you think that YouTubers earn the same amount of money, you are really wrong. So I was also completely confused by this fact that depending on which niche you are in and a number of other factors, that is actually what will determine what your CPM is as a YouTuber. Now, niches have a lot of talk time on YouTube, but it's for good reason. So if you think as a creator maybe that a niche is quite a limiting concept because it's basically saying that if this kind of video is popular, then make more videos like that, it's really not intending to be. It's about saying that an advertiser wants to know the gist of your channel. And so if you confuse the algorithm by making videos about fashion, lifestyle, hair, makeup, I don't know, going to space, it's quite difficult then for YouTube to match you up with the brands or advertisers that are going to want to purchase the inventory on your channel. Whereas if you consistently post about similar content or similar topics, then it's really easy for Google to do that. And so once it knows that you rank really well, in my case, let's say for WhatsApp for Business, it knows that it can sell advertising space quite easily, which relates to WhatsApp, WhatsApp for Business, mobile marketing, and so forth. So you can see that actually it's just a practical consideration. The second consideration when it comes to niche is actually your audience. So if someone subscribed to me on the basis of having watched a WhatsApp for Business app, video, tutorial, they probably are not as likely to be interested in my fashion and lifestyle content. It's true that of course I can pivot over time. However, you don't want to confuse your target audience too much and give them too much of a buffet when it comes to the various topics that you make videos about. So when you are picking your niche, there are actually some niches which are much more highly paid. So I don't want to make that influence your decision because of course it needs to be a topic that you are passionate about, but you do need to kind of acknowledge the fact that some niches are far better paid than others. For example, the insurance niche apparently is the best paying niche because it has this highest CPM, but there are other niches like property, like investment, stock trading. Funnily enough, marketing apparently also has a very high CPM. Real estate, makeup to a degree, but fashion and vlogging is where you start to see much lower CPMs. But it really is a lot to do with the topic. And then on that, it's also how much of that video that people are viewing, because you can have a really high CPM, but if someone's not getting to your second or third ad, they're not going to see all the ads that you've placed on your video. So there's a lot of factors at play, but that CPM concept is really what it comes down to. The most important thing to remember here is that even if your CPM is a certain amount, let's say $8, Google takes a 45% cut of that. So they're not saying that that is what they will pay you, they're saying that is what a advertiser is willing to pay. So there's a lot of kind of maths that goes into it, but that will ultimately determine how much at the end of the month you are going to get paid. Some of the other things which will affect how much you're going to get paid apart from your niche and your CPM would be how long your videos are. So if you have videos which are over 10 minutes long, Google allows you to place more ads than if your video is less than 10 minutes long, in which case it's just the ads that they allocate to that video, versus if it's over 10 minutes long, you actually have the opportunity to place what they call mid-roll ads, which are ads in the middle of the video. So many YouTubers actually report that once they double the length of their videos or just get to over that 10-minute mark, they actually end up doubling their revenue, which is so crazy, but it makes so much sense because the longer your video, the more ads you can obviously place. The third main factor of how much money you're going to make is where your audience is based. Now, if you have an audience which is US or Canada based, you tend to get very good payouts because those markets, they are quite developed. You can sell easily online, aka they're very open to e-commerce, and they tend to have a lot of disposable income. Versus other markets like, let's say, even South Africa or India or Philippines, or maybe something a bit left field, in terms of what we normally think of when we think of markets with a huge e-commerce kind of penetration. Those markets, you're not going to be paid the same amount because either advertisers are not willing to fork out the money, or people are maybe not that au fait with buying online. So in either instance, it makes less sense for an advertiser to pay you a lot of money to promote their product online. And when I say that, I mean, obviously it's their ad that they're placing on your content, but at the end of the day, there's going to be an association with your brand and their brand invariably. The one thing that people tend to overlook when it comes to YouTube is actually it's the biggest search engine in the world. So as soon as you frame it in the sense of a search engine, it makes a lot of sense why YouTubers go to such great lengths to make beautiful thumbnails, make SEO optimized titles, meta tag all 30 of their meta tags on their videos. It's so that they are picked up in the algorithm and so that they rank well. So I think that is really quite a big mindset shift that I had to make in terms of the fact that it's a search engine. So the more searchable your content, typically the higher views you're going to get. This means that it's incredibly difficult to start a vlog channel, let's say, if you are not maybe a public figure or people just don't know who you are. They're unlikely to A, search for your vlog, and B, do they really care if they're not that familiar or they haven't really fallen in love with you or your content first. So you'll notice that a lot of YouTubers will create a vlog channel as a secondary later thing down the line when they're really well organic kind of ranking content is picked up, people come to know and love them, and then they're like, gee, I'd actually really like a behind the scenes look at this person's life. Then the vlog channel makes complete sense. But it really is important that it's a standalone kind of content piece that you're creating up front, because people need to want to learn about that particular skill or do that particular thing in order for your videos to rank well. Now, what a lot of YouTubers do is that they use third-party tools like TubeBuddy, which allows you to see keywords of other creators, and it also makes recommendations in terms of how competitive that set of keywords is, which could ultimately decide how you frame your video, what the angle is that you take on that video, because you're trying to see what is it that people are searching for and how do I get my video to rank for that specific thing. So you really want to be using the same search terms that people are actually looking for, but bear in mind that some of those search terms are incredibly highly competitive, which means if you have a small channel, it's less likely that you will rank for them. So you're really trying to find the sweet spot between something that people are searching for and that content not being readily available currently. And really, for me, WhatsApp for Business has been so eye-opening in that regard. The final consideration from an AdSense point of view specifically is, in general, you're just trying to be advertiser friendly. So if you think from a brand's perspective, they want to be associated with creators who create high quality content that doesn't have any kind of hate speech, very political, religious, they'll steer clear of anything controversial. And in addition to that, they don't want anything that's inappropriate, especially for children. So it's really important just to bear those key considerations in mind when you're making YouTube videos, is just to be advertiser friendly. One of the main ways that people run themselves into trouble is by using copyrighted music as an example, and that would also result in you becoming demonetized because you're not respecting someone's copyright on their music. So it's actually quite straightforward when you think about it. You just need to have that frame of mind going into YouTube. Now, the other ways in which YouTubers make money, I don't think I need to go into as much detail about, because I really wanted the AdSense part to be the meatiest part. But in terms of the other ones, and I've just got my notes over here in case you see me looking left. So things like brand deals and sponsorships, that is common across all social networks. So they're basically looking for influencers who meet their criteria or their objectives for the next upcoming marketing campaign. So it'll oftentimes be an agency that's looking for influencers on behalf of a brand and trying to match up who they think would work well. Now, in America, this is quite a formalized process where influencers are signed to very specific networks. In South Africa, people will work with agents, but it's a lot less formal. So it really depends how big you are and how formal you need to be. But obviously, once your channel grows, it becomes difficult for you to manage those emails back and forth yourself. So that's why people do often sign on the agencies or the brokers, or however formal they want to have it. In terms of affiliate marketing, South Africa is also a little bit slower on the uptake than America, for example. but we do have some small affiliate programs here. However, in America, Amazon is the biggest affiliate program, and that's of course when people use those personalized URLs so that when someone buys off of your channel, so say I promote my Canon 760D and you happen to buy a camera from my link, then I'm going to actually earn a cut of that because I'm the one that's told you about that specific model of camera. So it's quite a new concept, but it's very interesting because there's that direct ROI for the brand. They know that they watched this person's video and then they bought this product as a result. So that's a really cool and direct way that people use their influence or the power of their YouTube channel to make money. Some of the more fringe ways that people make money is, of course, merchandise. So I know that a lot of big American YouTubers will do this, and basically they're putting their name on something, selling it, and their fans are going to want in on that action. Like, for example, the clickbait brand that's made by that very famous YouTuber, David. And yeah, I think there's a lot of other examples of that, but that's just a simple one. And then there's also meetups and live events, which are ways in which people can actually come to meet these video influencers. They also have huge conferences in America like VidCon, where you can go and actually meet like PewDiePie or Casey Neistat or Dan Mace. I guess he's probably up there now. You basically creating yourself as a celebrity, and people are wanting in on that, and so you can obviously capitalize on that from that perspective. And then the final point that I'm going to talk about is premium products. So some YouTubers will choose to sell Lightroom presets for Instagram because maybe they have a drool-worthy Instagram, or what I see a lot of YouTubers doing is creating courses on platforms like Skillshare. So it really is quite a cool way of looking at it, because your skills are obviously given away for free on YouTube to your consumers because advertisers are kind of footing the bill for you. But you can actually ask people to pay or transact for that skill for you to actually have structured something beautiful like a course, a lookup table, or like a set of a different like contrast or whatever settings that you specifically use on your YouTube channel that other people can then emulate or mirror on their YouTube channels. And that is really it for today's video. I hope you guys found this interesting. If there was anything you didn't know about how YouTubers actually make money, I'd love to hear about it in the comments box below. If there's anything that you're still wondering about or unsure about, I'd also love to hear if there's anything else I can clear up or maybe make a part 2 of the video. So I would like to just say thanks so much for sticking around till the end. If you liked it, please don't forget to give me that thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't already. And I cannot wait to see you in our next video so that we can do digital better. I can help you out. I can help you out. I can help you out. Here we go again. Time is up and I'm calling up my